Okay, good. Thank you. All right. Let me just share my screen too. Oh, good. All right. Um, so just to, give a quick 1 minute recap of what have been done so far. We, barring the older sessions and the new sessions, what I'm talking, we created a conference management app. Then we created three different objects. One is a session object, then a speaker object, then a session speaker object. Now, session is a master object where we capture all the session information. Speaker is a master object where we capture the speaker information. And session speaker is a junction object where we established a many-to-many relationship between session and speaker so that at the database level, we can represent that a single session can be attended, single session can be hosted by multiple speakers, and at the same time, multiple speakers, each speaker can also host multiple sessions. So this way we are able to establish many-to-many relationship. Then we also saw another example where we have employee and employee salary. Okay, employee and employee salary where, we established a one-to-many relationship where one employee can have multiple employee salaries. While also doing this, we try to understand what is the difference between a master detail and a lookup relationship, where the master detail or lookup both are one-to-many relationship. It's just that master detail relationship is tightly bound. When I say tightly bound, if you delete the parent record, the child object record gets deleted automatically. The other thing is the ownership, record ownership is inherited always from the parent in case of master detail relationship. Whereas in lookup relationship, if you delete the parent, the child record can exist independently, and at the same time, the security for both parent record and child record can be maintained independently because, of course, because we have what you call owner field is separately available for both parent and child. In master detail relationship, just in case you notice, the master record are always mandatory. For example, if you see we have master detail relationship to session and speaker, and if you notice, session and speaker are always mandatory. So you cannot have an orphan child record. You always have to have a parent record associated with it in case of master detail relationship. Whereas in lookup relationship, of course, if these are lookup relationships, it can be mandatory or it cannot be mandatory. Okay, in lookup relationship, we can, the child and parent can exist as independent entities. Whereas in master detail relationship, there is no concept of orphan child. Like, the child always have to be associated with the parent. We also saw the concept of roll-up summary field. We saw the concept of formula logic first. The formula logic is nothing but, we can create simple formulas like this, where we can calculate the duration in minutes. If you see, the duration in minutes would be the difference between start time and end time. That's basically a simple formula field. That's a duration in minutes. Whereas roll-up summary field is nothing but if you want to calculate the number of children records, like, how many session speakers are there, or what is the sum, minimum, maximum. So the basic functions, but that can, if that are available only in case of master detail relationship or roll-up summary field. Now, any questions so far on this? Anybody? Let me see the participants list. Niranjan, do you have any questions so far on this?
No, sir.
Okay. Now, I just want to ask you one thing. Did you guys notice, okay, so, for example, I just want to ask you this question. I wanted to convert, okay, here is the thing. For example, I have two different objects. Okay, like imagine a scenario like this. I have two different objects, object A and object B. Okay, now I want to make a master detail relationship between object A and B. That means I want to make A as the parent and B as the child. So I have object A and B. Okay, and A has some records and B has some records. Okay, very straightforward, very simple. You just imagine you created two different objects. One is object A and one is object B. Object A has some records in the database and object B has some records in the database. Now you thought about you're designing the schema and you decided, oh, you know what? Actually, object A and B are good, but object B should be the child object of A. Okay, object B should be child object of A, and you decided the child object of A with master detail relationship. Okay, now how do you do this? Like, can you create a master detail relationship between two objects that already have records?
No, Shravan, like ownership and all, it will be different, right? So,
Yes.
they are known.
So what is the primary criteria of master detail? Look at here. So these are master detail session and speaker. These are master detail relationship, right? Session speaker is a child object, and session and speaker are master detail to master detail relationship here. Now, are these fields mandatory or not? Like, can you create a session speaker record without filling session or speaker?
No.
No. Now, in case of object A and B, A has few records and B has few records. Now, what I asked is, okay, make object B as the child object. So, what would you do? You would go to object B and try to create a master detail relationship field, and you will choose the parent as object A. That's what we will do. But when you try to save it, Salesforce will throw an error saying, hey, you cannot create a master detail relationship for the object that already have records. Why? You see, in master detail relationship, what is the characteristic? The child object cannot have its owner field. That's a standard Salesforce feature. The child records cannot exist independently. Every child record should have a parent record, should always have a parent record. Now, object A and object B are independent objects. They are not related. Now you are trying to link them. Like, on object B, you are trying to create a field called master detail relationship to object A. Now, when you are doing this, what's happening? The relationship is, you're trying to establish a master detail relationship. And in master detail relationship, the child record should always be associated with the parent. There is no association with the records that already exist. Okay? How do you solve this? Like, how do you solve this scenario? Like, you have two objects, and all two objects have, I just want you to practice this as an exercise as well. Very simple. No complexity here. Just create one object, name it A. I'm okay with it. Create an object A and create an object B. Just create few records in object A and create few records in object B. Now, create a master detail field on object B, because, in order to make A as the parent, you need to create the master detail relationship on B. So this way what happens? A will be the parent and B will be the child object. Okay? So try to create that. You will get an error. And, if you get an error, how would you solve that is my question. So in order to solve what you do is always create a lookup relationship first. Okay? We create the lookup relationship, fill the lookup field with the right parent record, and then convert the lookup relationship to master detail relationship. Okay? Now, I told you the answer too, but I want you guys to try it so that, we understand in practical how do we do it. Okay? Any questions on the exercise that I asked you to do? Create object A, create some records in it. Create object B, create some records in it. Now, establish a master detail relationship between B and A. Like, on B, create a master detail field and choose object A as the master, like, parent. You will not be able to create it. Now, in order to solve it, create a lookup relationship, fill the parent records for object B, and then convert the lookup relationship field, whatever you created. Go to the object manager field, click edit, change field type, choose change field type option, and then update the lookup relationship to master detail relationship. Okay. I mean, this has so much significance, and people also usually ask this question in interviews on, hey, how do you convert, like, how do you create master detail between two objects that already have records? Okay. On the other way around, okay, I just want to ask you this. Let's say I go to session. Between session and session speaker, there is master detail relationship, and we also have a roll-up summary field. I want to make this master detail relationship a lookup relationship. If I want to convert a master detail to a lookup, what precautions should be taken? We just need to make sure that there are no roll-up summary fields, because the character of master detail is on the master object, we can create roll-up summary field. So if you want to convert a master detail relationship to lookup relationship, we need to make sure the roll-up summary fields are deleted first. First the roll-up summary fields, you should delete those, and then convert the master detail to lookup relationship. Any question? Anybody? Now, the only way, I mean, I can speak few more hours or more and more hours on the object relationship, but the only way you get it is by practicing. Like, by practicing means not many scenarios. I think we already have 2 scenarios. If you just practice those 2 scenarios again, and try to look into it again and again, you'll get it. I just want to ask honestly, like, anybody has any question on the object relationships, any concept that's not understood, or or do you have any question while practicing, anything like that, before I move on from this?
No, Sharman, nothing from me. This is Raman.
Okay, that's good. Thank you. Krishna, do you have any questions?
Myself, Ramesh, sir. I am just going through your class recordings, and I have completed like 5 recordings, and until 5 recordings, everything is fine. But there is one small doubt. I will talk with you like after the class. I'll share this.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, sure,
between, like,
absolutely.
3 classes, I need to like go through the 6, 7, 8, 9 videos, so that maybe I will catch up by tomorrow. But
Okay,
now I'm
that's
just
good.
listening. I'm going through your class. I'm just listening it. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's good.
Oh.
So Vijay, do you have? I'm sure. I mean, for some reason, I have so much confidence that Vijay got it, but I just want to ask him. Vijay, do you have any question on the?
Not at the moment. I haven't tried the thing you said. I'll try and come up with if I have any doubt.
Okay, but with respect to like many to many or one to many, do you still have any questions?
Many to many and roll up is okay for me. But you told that a master detail relationship can be converted by lookup. First, you have to do a lookup relationship, right?
So no. I mean, I'm saying, in order to convert, like, let's say, if you have to, like, there are 2 ways possible. A lookup relationship can be converted to master detail. A master detail can also be converted to lookup. If master detail have to be converted to lookup, you need to make sure there are no roll-up summary fields, because the roll-up summary feature is a feature of master detail relationship. If you want to convert lookup to master detail, you need to make sure all the lookup fields are populated, because in master detail, like when you have a lookup relationship, right? For example, I'll just tell you one example. Okay. So here, let's go to, the known example, account and contact. Okay. So I'm creating a contact here. I'm creating a contact. Where is the last name? Okay, last name. I'll just. Now you see here account. Account is the parent, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So contact is the child and account is the parent. One-to-many relationship. One account can have multiple contacts. Very good example of one-to-many relationship. Now, is account mandatory here?
No.
No. Okay. Account is not mandatory. So what am I doing? I'm just saving this contact like this. Okay. So this Mr. TTT, whatever contact that I created, does not belong to any account. It's an independent record of its own. Okay. How am I able to do this? Like how are we able to do this? Because account and contact are in lookup relationship. So there is a lookup relationship between account and contact. That means in lookup relationship, parent record is not mandatory, right? So that's why I'm able to create a contact without an account. Okay. Now, so in this example, so we already have in the system, we already have lots of account records that are there, and we also have contact records that exist. I already have contact records, and you see there are 2 contacts that doesn't have any account associated with them. So I have overall 5 contacts in the system and 2 of them doesn't have account field populated. Now we got a requirement that said, hey, account and contact are in lookup relationship, but we want to convert this relationship into master detail. Okay. Between standard objects, it's not possible, but imagine these are custom objects, exact scenario, custom objects. Now I want to convert the lookup relationship to master detail. Will I be able to do that? Will Salesforce allow me to do that directly?
Haven't tried, so don't know.
So there should be a relation.
Okay, I'm saying, sorry?
Like there is no we have to not have some roll-up summary fields, so unless they exist on the master.
No. From lookup to master detail. Okay. So from lookup to master detail, Salesforce now will not allow, because what is the feature of master detail? Okay. Let me ask you this question. I'm creating a contact. If account and contact are in master detail, would account be a mandatory field or not?
It will be mandatory.
In master detail, it will be mandatory, right? So it will not allow me to create a record like this. Salesforce, the relationship will not allow me to create a record like this. There will not be any record with empty account. Now my requirement is I'm trying to convert a lookup relationship to master detail. So in order to convert a lookup relationship to master detail, even before conversion, what should I do? I should fill this field with something. Save. Now, because all the lookup fields are populated for all existing records, I will be able to convert this lookup relationship to master detail. Do you get what I mean?
Basically, there shouldn't be any data gaps, so we're filling all the data accordingly.
Exactly. That's what we need to proactively do that data. Because what is the feature of master detail? In master detail relationship, a child record there is no concept of orphan records. A child record will always have a parent, because everything, whether record level ownership or the security, everything is inherited to the parent from to the child from the parent. So there is no in master detail relationship, there is no concept of orphan records. So the child always have to be associated with the parent. But now in the case of account and contact, what's there? It's a lookup relationship where if you want, you can establish a relationship. If not, the child record can exist independently too. Okay? Does that make sense
Yes, sir.
on what I'm talking about?
Yes, yes. Now we will first establish a lookup relationship and see where the record wherever there is no account in this example,
Yes.
we fill the account field, and once all the data is correct, then we convert the.
Then we convert. Yeah. Then we convert the relationship.
into
Okay?
master.
Yeah. Yeah. So, like, let's say if you have two different independent objects, and now you want to establish a relationship between them. Lookup relationship you can establish any time that you want. But if you want to establish a master detail relationship, first you will create a lookup, identify the parent records, then do the mapping, and then only you will be able to convert it into master detail.
Can you tell this again, sir?
So if you have two independent objects, in the example that I mentioned, right, I asked you guys to do an exercise, right, where create an object named A, just A, have some records in it, and create an object B and have some records in it. Now, between object A and B, choose A as the parent and B as the child, establish master detail relationship between them. Okay, that's my requirement. Object A has some records, like 5 records. Object B have 5 records, independent objects. Now, somebody came and said, yeah, object B should be the child of object A with master detail relationship. So how do we do that? In master detail relationship, now when I'm trying to create a master detail relationship on object B, Salesforce wouldn't allow me, because in master detail, a child object cannot exist without a parent. So that's why you will first create a lookup relationship, fill in the field, establish the relationship, and then that's when you convert the lookup relationship to master detail. So if you guys try it, you will get it. When you try what I'm asking, I think you should be able to understand it clearly. Shiva, is it clear? Shiva? Okay. All right. Now we also spoke about cross-object formula. I just want to ask you one question. Let's take account and contact as the example again. Account is the parent, which is the parent record, and it has contact records. So, can I create a formula field on account and be able to access child record like contact? Can I do that?
Wait, say that again, please.
Account is the parent and contact is the child, right? One
Yeah.
account can have multiple contacts, so account is the parent and contact is the child. Can I create a formula field on account? Can I create a formula field on account and access the value of a contact?
No.
Yes.
Okay. The other way around. If I write a formula field on the contact, will I be able to access the account field values?
Yes.
No.
Yeah. No.
Okay.
No.
I'll give you the analogy that I gave the other day. I'll ask you again. Okay. Let's say, take example of a parent with 4 kids. Okay, just a parent with 4 kids. Okay, so parent equals to account here, and the kids equal to the contact records. Now, ask the kid what's your dad's name. Will the kid be able to ask any kid what's your dad's name? Will the kid be able to tell the answer or not?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Ask the kid, what's your dad's age? They will be able to tell, right? Ask the kid, what's your dad's height? They'll be able to tell all the answers. Now, if you ask any kid, the answer would be same. Okay? Now, do the same thing with the parent. Like, go and ask, hey, what's your kid's name? Will the parent be able to tell the answer directly? Or will the parent have to ask few more questions? Which kid are you talking about? Second kid, third kid? The parent have to ask all those questions, right? Whereas the same question, if you are asking the child, all the childs are giving the exact answer. The same question, if you ask the parent is unable to give you the answer because there is some specificity needed, right? Now, in the same way here, account is the parent and contact is the child. Now, on the child, okay, you're writing a formula on the child record. Will you be able to access the parent fields or not?
Yes.
Guys, when we write a formula field on the contact, will we be able to access the field values on account or not?
Yes, we can.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. When we write the same formula on account, will we be able to access the fields on the contact?
No, we won't be.
No.
No, we won't be because, like there can be many contacts and if we write a formula on account, there is no way for us to know which contact we are referring to because each contact can have different values. Okay? But because all these contacts have the common parent, what is the common quality for all these contacts? The parent is one single account. Okay? Because all the contacts have the common parent, you can write a formula on the contact or you can write a query on the child object and be able to access the value of the parent fields in a way you want because of the example that I told you. Okay? I mean, sometimes I feel it's a dumb example, but that works. I've been doing this for quite a bit of time, so I don't have to think all those examples. So when I'm writing a query, naturally I get it. I use the _R notation to be able to write it. But I've used this example for so many people, even in my office, when they ask me a question about relationships, and it worked pretty fine. The next time they come with the question on a similar line about writing a query or something, I again use the same example, and and they tend to get it. I'm not sure how much it is helpful, but like either remember the example or remember that. If you remember the example, I think it makes sense. It really makes sense, the example. At least to me, it makes sense. So now, while writing the formulas, you will automatically notice it. If you're writing a formula on the child object, you will automatically notice that there is a pipe symbol for the parent and you will be able to access all the parent fields. Even accidentally, if you are trying to write a formula on the parent record, you will never be able to see the child object, because of the nature of the formula logic. Okay? Anybody? Any question? Is somebody trying to ask a question?
When you say formula, do you mean by condition? Just in other terms?
When I meant formula, see, this is a formula field, right? Which one should I say? Okay, let me show you what formula means. So in the conference management app, let's go here. See, this is a formula field, right? Duration in minutes. So duration in minutes is calculated by schedule time, end time minus start time. Okay?
Yeah.
In the same way, if I go here, you see in the session speaker object. Okay, in the session speaker object, this is a child object. This is a child object of session, and this is also a child object of speaker. So here, you see, I want to know what is the session start time. How are we getting this session start time? We travel from session speaker to session. Okay, we like using _R notation. We created a formula field on the session speaker object, we use double underscore R notation to be able to get the session start time from this and populate it here. So when I meant formula, like, you can create formula logic, like you can write, I mean, even validation is a formula. Like, let's say you have a requirement where, like, on session object and on speaker object. If you notice on session object, like if you see session object, we have a field called, what is this? We had a field level, right? Yeah, we had a field called level, beginner, advanced, or something. Now, at the same time, on the speaker object also, we have a field called level. Now, while creating a session speaker record, if we need to validate, like, if we have a validation rule that only speakers with advanced level can register in, like, for a session that's advanced level. If you want to validate that, like, what I mean. So if you want to validate things like that, you can use a cross object validation rule. Like, even validation rule is a formula logic. So you can use that cross object validation rule to be able to travel to different objects and then compare the values and throw an error message. So for those, like, scenarios like that, you can use the cross object formulas or cross object. Like, when I say formula, not only formula field. Remember I spoke, we have something called formula logic. So far in formula logic, we have covered validation rules and formula fields. So wherever we have that formula logic, we can absolutely apply the same principles that are applied.
Okay.
Okay. Now I want to move on to one other formula logic. Like, so far in the formula logic, we have seen validation rules and formula fields. Now I want to move on to one other formula logic, but I want to use account and contact as the example for that. Okay, because we are more well versed with that. So we have something called as process builder. Okay, we have a feature in Salesforce called as process builder. Now, what is process builder? Like, what is the concept behind it? So process builder really helps us to execute business logic. Okay, so I mean, what is meant by business logic, first of all? So any automations that we do, okay, any automations that we do come under business logic. For example, validation rule is a business logic. We wrote a validation rule that start time cannot be greater than end time. And we wanted to write a validation rule that, a person with advanced level or medium level can only be a session speaker for an advanced level session. Like, those things are validation rules. So as a person, as an admin or as a developer, whenever you are creating an object or whenever you are building an app, you need to make sure that the data is valid. Data has some quality, and hence you're using validation rules for that. Validation rule comes under a business logic. You're implementing some business logic. In the same way, so now validation rule is what it is doing. Validation rule is preventing you from saving bad quality data. It is helping you to maintain good quality of data. Now, in the same way, for example, take this example. I'm going to a contact. Okay, let's see here. Let's see. I'm creating a brand new contact. Okay, brand new contact record. Okay, I'm choosing an account. Okay, so this is the account I'm choosing. Title, I'll just say CEO. Department. Okay, I'm just choosing those, and I hit. See, I didn't fill any street, city, or mailing street, mailing address, mailing zip code, mailing postal code, mailing country. I didn't fill any of these. Okay, all I chose is account name, and hit save. Now, would it be wouldn't it be awesome? Let's say, let me click edit. Wouldn't it be awesome if I don't fill anything? Like, if I don't fill any of these addresses here, the moment I chose account, if this account has an address, basically you see the relationship between account and contact. Account contacts are nothing but people who work for this company. Mostly contacts are nothing but people who work for the account are listed as contacts. Okay. So if the user didn't populate this address, wouldn't it be a good idea to automatically get the address from account and populate in these fields? Like, we are doing some automation. What we are doing, we are looking at account, and whatever the address that the account has, okay, let me go to the account. So whatever the address the account has, we want to populate it here. Okay, so let me edit this record and populate some address. So this has billing street, right? I'll just say okay. So I have this. So for an account, basically for an account, I have the whole address populated. Okay. So when I'm creating a contact, or like when I have a contact that is created under this account, like, I'm going here, under this account, I'm creating a contact. So when I'm creating a contact under this account, I mean, this is coming automatically, but let's say, I mean, this is a standard feature, but let's say in the case, now I'm not coming from here. Let's say I'm going from here, okay? And I choose an account, okay? I want this mailing street, the moment I hit save, I want mailing street, mailing city, these things to be populated, okay? So, because this parent record has, and this record has what you call some address, I want automatically these fields to be populated. That's one way. Or let's say there is another requirement where, this email is there, right? Let's say I have an email. I'm creating a contact, okay? The moment a contact is created, I want to send an email saying, hey, a welcome email, because this person, this contact means these people wanted to do business with us, right? So I just want to send a welcome email to this contact saying, thank you for, willing to do business with us, or something like that. I just want to send an email to them, okay? Or when a contact is created, I want to let the account owner know, or a contact owner know, like, hey, you know what? This contact is created after, after 2 days or 1 day, go talk to them. Like, after 1 day or 2 days, make sure you reach out to them, or make sure you make a call and follow up with the contact, because see, this person is a new contact. They recently decided to business with us. So somebody has to follow up with them, right? So we need to automatically create a task to the owner of the contact, asking them to follow up. Owner of the contact, asking them to follow up with them. So these are automatic business processes, right? So in order to do all those, there is a feature called Process Builder that is available in Salesforce, which helps us to automate a lot of business processes. Like, again, it's the same formula logic, but more than that. Formula logic is nothing but it will calculate, and, it will calculate formula logic within formula fields. What is the difference between a formula field and populating fields with a process builder? Formula field is nothing but you can create a mailing street, mailing city formula field here, but the difference is the formula field that you create will always have whatever the value that you have here, but you need the ability to be able to update whatever you want, and if only these fields are empty, then you want to populate it with the account's address. You know what I mean? So you should have, when you are creating a contact, you should have the ability to be able to enter the mailing sheet, mailing city, mailing, all this. If the contact did not provide you, or if you did not get in this information, then automatically populate with whatever the mailing street city that you have at the account level. You get that flexibility. So you are able to edit the information, and at the same time, if you want, you are able to automate it. Whereas in formula fields, you don't have that ability, right? Formula fields are read-only fields. So you can only refer, you can only refer the existing fields, and you will not be able to change the value. Only if the referred field values changes, then the formula field value changes. But here in process builder, you can do more than that. Okay. So the name itself is process builder. So process builder is nothing but it has a lot of things. Like I mentioned, you can send an email. You can, so you can send an email, you can create a task, or you can update a corresponding record, or, you can make a chatter post, you can make a chatter feed post here. Like you can do a lot of things that are available, but we will take an example of the most common scenario or the most widely used scenario, which is nothing but the field update. Okay. So the field update that I spoke about. Let me introduce you to that process builder. So again, whenever we go, we search for process builder. Okay, we can move to process builder.
Excuse me, Shravan.
Okay. Yes.
Hello. Yeah. Is process builder same as trigger?
Sorry?
Is process builder same as trigger?
Yes. In the backend, technically, process builders are nothing but triggers. I mean, Salesforce basically, whenever you are creating a process, Salesforce is in the backend, they're actually creating a trigger. But since not everybody can write code, that's the motto of Salesforce. Salesforce is no software. So Salesforce wants to make as many things as configurable as possible. So usually what you do, you can do these things using a trigger. But Salesforce is giving point and click tools to be able to automate these processes. So people even who cannot write code will be able to do all these business processes, like, updating the records, validating the data, all those. Otherwise, if you take another technology that doesn't have all this, all these things have to be done by core developers, right? Like validating, customizing the UI, establishing relations, all these things have to be done by core developers. But here, most of so far the formula fields, relationships, objects, page layout, everything is done by an admin. I mean, like people who do not write a single piece of code. Now, process builder is one of the evolved product of Salesforce. So previously, when process builder wasn't there, all the things that I spoke about, where, updating the fields automatically or sending the email, all these things should be done through code. But Salesforce have this process builder where you can just use the process builder, and as an admin, you still be able to achieve a lot of things.
Okay.
But
so this process builder is only available in Lightning, not in Classic?
No. Process builder is available in Classic too.
Oh, okay, I'm done.
I mean, previously, Salesforce, not previously, even now, Salesforce has something called workflows. So there is a feature called workflow rules. Okay, so workflow rules is exactly, same like process builder, where it's exactly the same. It's just that process builder is more evolved version. You can do easily even more things with process builder than with workflow. Okay, process builder does all the things that a workflow does except outbound message that we'll talk about later. But process builder does all the things that a workflow does, plus some other things. Workflow does, few things that a process builder do. So rather than, but everything works on the same principle. This workflow is the old concept, and Salesforce not recently, process builder is there for 2-3 years now. Workflow was there forever, like even before I know Salesforce, workflow was there. But process builder was recent. but they made lots of enhancements. And any new features that are going to come will only come to the process builder. They are not going to enhance workflows anymore. That's why, we are learning process builder. And all the things that you can do with workflow, you'll be able to do with process builder.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. So, process builder is a place where you can automate things. Okay. You can populate fields. You can write some business logics and all that. Those things you can do with process builder. Okay. But you're right. In the backend, absolutely. When you are writing a process builder, Salesforce automatically is creating a trigger. Instead of a developer writing it, Salesforce is automatically creating a trigger itself. Okay?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Now, so what we are trying to do, we want to on contact. Okay? See, for process builder, right? Two things are, we need to know two major things. Okay? So the triggering point and the criteria node. So just remember two things. We need two things. The triggering point and the criteria node. Triggering point is nothing but a process builder can fire whenever a record is created or whenever a record is updated. For example, if you are creating a new contact record, okay? So creating a record is nothing but, see, you hit save. You are creating a new record, or you go click edit and you are updating an existing record. See, the process builder, any process, like the triggering point is nothing but you need to determine when this logic should fire, whether when a record is created or when a record is updated. There is a difference, right? You are creating a brand new record versus you are updating it. That's the triggering point. Now the criteria node is nothing but, here the thing is, when mailing address is empty, when mailing city is blank, when mailing state is blank, when mailing zip code is blank, or when mailing country is blank. So this is the criteria node. So the criteria node is what did we discuss? When you are creating a contact, and if while creating the contact, if these fields are empty, that's when we populate it, right? That's when we populate it with the values from the account. If these are filled by the user already, we won't populate it. So the triggering point is this logic should be executed whenever this, whatever logic that we are going to write, the process builder logic should be executed whenever a contact record is created or updated. But the criteria node is only when, the criteria node is if the mailing street is blank, if the mailing city is blank. So there is a difference between the triggering point. Triggering point is just when. Only do you want this to be executed only when the record is created or when the record is created and updated. That's the triggering point. The criteria point is you need to, you can add any conditions. Okay, I'll just, let's see an example here. So I come to process builder, click new. I'll just say update contact with account address. Okay, look at this. This process starts. Okay, let's not go into the platform event occurs or by another process. This process starts when a record changes. Okay, when a contact record is created, this process starts when a record changes. Now save it. Okay, good. Add an object. Now this is the flow. Here they are giving a nice flow chart here. So we'll add an object. Which object it is? We want to write this rule on contact object. Okay, so contact object. Do we remember the triggering criteria? do we want this only when a record is created or when a record is created or edited? I would say when a record is created and edited. Whenever a record is created and also edited, let's do this. Okay? Let's check this checkbox. I'll tell you what this advanced means. Okay? And let's just save this. So, you see, what did we do here? If you click on it, okay, start process. Let's start the process. And here we said, okay, on contact object, whenever a brand new record is created or whenever an existing record is updated, start this process. Now, you see, these are the criteria nodes. Remember, this is the triggering point. The first point is the triggering point. What is the triggering point for this process? Whenever a contact record is created or updated. Now, what is the criteria node? Okay, I'm just updating. If okay, I'll just say cont address is blank. Okay, I'm just saying the criteria is whenever the contact address is blank, right? Okay, so when the conditions are met, we just want to make sure the conditions are met, or we can write a formula. I'll just say conditions are met. I'll just say mailing city if contact mailing city is null, I'll just choose mailing country also equals null. Okay, so I'll just say, you see the condition, all the conditions are true or any of the, I just want any of the condition. If the mailing city is null or if the mailing country is null, I just, if any of the field is null. Okay, if any of the mailing or you know what, I'll just choose is null. So simply, I'm just saying if mailing city is null or mailing country is null, if contact's mailing city is null or I'm just choosing or condition. If I just choose this and the condition means if both mailing city and mailing country is null, then this rule will fire. If I just choose this one, it would just say either mailing city or mailing country is null, this logic would fire. Okay? I'll explain you what this advanced means. Okay? I'll just say save. Okay? So now what we are saying, okay, start this process on contact object whenever record is created or updated and when the contact address is blank. Okay? So we can do both immediate actions and also scheduled actions. Immediate action is nothing but what should happen right away. Okay? Scheduled action is nothing but once this, on contact, once this criteria is met, after some time, after 1 day, do this. After 2 days, do this. So there are immediate actions and also scheduled actions. So it's asking what is the immediate action that we need to do. So let's say immediate action. Okay. And we will just say update records. So these are all the things that we can do. Remember I told you, like we can create a record, we can send an email alert, we can execute a flow, we can post to chatter, we can, we can do all those. So for now, we will use, among all this is the most used one. Okay. The update record option is the most widely used one. So we'll use update record. We'll just say one second. Yes. Create a record. Yes. Update records. Update. Select the contact record that started. Okay. So we are saying which record you want to update. Like, okay, we want to update. Which record we want to update? We want to update the record that started our process. Like, which record, whatever record that started the process, we want to update that. Okay, so now let's see this. Okay, set a new field value. Which field value? So we want to go to accounts, billing city. Give me 1 second. No, I just want to update. What happened to this? Oh, sorry. I just want. Why am I looking at account? I just want. I want to update mailing city with accounts billing city. Yeah. So I want to update contacts mailing city with accounts billing city, and at the same time, I want to update mailing country billing country. Mailing city, mailing country. We also have mailing postcode, right? What do we have on mailing? Yeah, mailing with postal code. I want to update it with accounts billing postal code. Mailing state. I want to update with accounts billing state province. Okay, mailing city, country. We can add mailing street too. We can do billing street. Okay, so I'm just mapping, like it's asking which fields I want to update it with. I'm just updating the contacts mailing city with accounts billing city, contacts mailing country with accounts billing country, contact zip code with accounts postal code. So like if you see here, you see the option that I'm using is field reference. So what is field reference? Because account is the parent of a contact. Because account is the parent of a contact, I'm making sure to populate, like, I'm navigating or I'm traveling from, I'm traveling from contact to account and then, getting the value of the accounts and populating them here. Okay. I'll just save this. Okay. So you can, so if you want to revise the first thing, we need to find out two things here. Okay. One, what is the triggering criteria? The triggering criteria is on contact object. Whenever we are creating a record or updating it, we want to find. And the criteria node. The criteria node is whenever the contact address is blank. How are we determining when the contact address, if the mailing city is blank or if the mailing country? We can add everything, like, we can add all the fields, but for now I just added if the mailing city is blank or if the mailing country is blank, I'm doing that. Then what is the immediate action? The immediate action I'm doing is I'm updating a record. I'm updating a record with the accounts, like, mailing city, I'm updating with accounts billing city. Mailing country, I'm updating with accounts billing. So I'm doing this and I saved this. So remember one thing, everybody writes this. People usually forgets to activate this. If you forget to activate this process builder, it won't work. So I'm just activating it. Okay. So now the process builder is activated. So once it is activated, you cannot modify it. You can create another version of it. Like, you can create V2, V3, V4, like you can keep updating the versions of it. But once it's created, you just, you will not be able to modify it. It's okay. You can just use clone option to be able to clone and then make modifications to it. It's not a problem. Okay. Now, so what I will show you practically what it is doing. I'll show you practically what fields it's updating and stuff. But I just want you guys to know that we are like process builder can do a lot of things, and we are seeing only one of the things that it can do. One of the most, this is the most commonly used feature of process builder. I know it can chatter post, it can do all those things, but everything works on the same principle. Okay, the most important thing or the most commonly used criteria in a process builder is this workflow, field updates. Okay, so the field update is nothing. We are using that. Now, what is the triggering point? The triggering point is whenever a contact record is created or updated, and what is the criteria whenever the fields are blank, and what is happening. Okay, so in order to, just to get more understanding of this, don't think about, okay, I know what people usually think and what the end result is going to be. If you think, oh man, I need to know about a process builder, I need to, update this field, I need to click those buttons, just don't think about it. The most important thing that I noticed, especially in IT, is if you think about, you are never valued. I think I've told you this before. You are never valued in the company, or you're never valued in a team just because you're technically sound. Okay, you're always valued in a team when you're able to digest and understand the requirement correctly. Okay, so the process builder is easy. Okay, the process builder is easy, but the only thing that you need to know is what you are doing here. Okay, here our requirement, like try to understand the requirement first. The requirement is account and contact are parent-child relationship. Okay, it doesn't matter. Like process builder doesn't have to be working with the parent-child relationship. I'm just using one example to let you know that we can do a cross-object formula and at the same time trying to explain the process builder. Okay, so account and contact are parent-child. Now you are creating a contact. When you are creating a contact, okay, if the mailing, if the mailing city and mailing country are empty, okay, if the mailing city and mailing country are empty, we are asking Salesforce, we built a process builder to be able to populate the value of mailing street, city, country, everything from the account that it is associated with. Okay, if these are populated by the user while creating the record itself, if these are populated by the user, we don't want them to be overridden. That's our requirement. So understanding the end goal is primarily most important. Then don't worry about, what is triggering point, what is, criteria node. I've never used those words. Like I never use those words while actually doing a process builder myself. Because I have to explain you, because I have to put it in a context, I'm using those terms called triggering point, criteria node, and all that. But, just don't get messed up with those words, okay? just think about, okay, when should this logic work? Of course, when you hit save button, whenever you are hitting save button, automatically the fields have to be populated. Okay, so when would you hit save button? Whether you are creating a new contact record or whether you are updating a new contact. All we are doing is, in the process builder, all we did is whatever words that we have taken, we just, because system cannot understand it, right? There has to be a standard set for the system so that everybody follow the same thing. Okay, so if you ask you to write a statement, you would it's the same requirement. There are 10 people in the class now. If you ask everybody to write the same requirement, everybody writes it in their own words. Rather than that, what Salesforce have come up with a process builder. Good, but this process builder have to be in a specific format so that Salesforce, as a platform, can understand what we are trying to do. That's why they came up with the process okay, choose the object first, choose the criteria first. Okay, so now what we are trying to do is we are trying to follow the same whatever they ask. So they asked, okay, when you are creating a new process, they asked, okay, what is the object? The contact object, and we want to fire this whenever the contact record is created or edited. Then also we want to make sure that the mailing city and mailing country are blank. Okay, now when the mailing city and mailing country are blank and when a contact record is created, what should happen? We need to update these fields with the accounts, billing city, billing postal code. So we are making sure that all the things that we want to do, we are putting it in a specific format so that Salesforce, the platform, can understand and execute the action. Okay, so that's why don't get carried away with all the clicks that we have done, all the things that we have done. So I'll show you this in practice, like what's happening, and I'll also give you a simple assignment, and we'll see. We'll from there we can take it forward. Okay. So now, okay, I go to a contact. Okay, I choose somebody. I pick an account. I say some title. I put some last name. Okay, I will leave the mailing city, mailing country, everything none. The Avega 6 account already have an address to it. Now let me just save the record. Okay, I save the record, and if we go back, you see automatically the address got populated. The account address automatically got copied over here. Okay, so let me create another contact. Let me create another contact. I choose the same account, but instead here I'll already populate the address. Okay, I already have the mailing city and mailing country populated. So I already have them populated. Now, as per our process builder, only if mailing city and mailing country are null, that's when this rule have to fire. So now if I save it, if I go here, you see, you're still seeing the address that is put by me. You're not seeing the account address did not get copied over. You're only seeing the address that is put by me. Whereas in the previous case, when the, if let's say I go here, I make all these fields null. I'm updating the records, and I'm going to make these null. So what should happen now? As per our criteria, what is the criteria? Whenever you are creating a record or whenever you are updating a record, okay, our process will also fire when we are, you see, when a contact record is created or updated, and like you see the criteria when mailing city is null and mailing country is null. So if I is this one? Yeah, probably. So I'm just gonna make everything null. Okay. So, and when I hit save, which one is this? This is the one that I was updating. Sorry, make this click edit. So make sure all these are null and hit save. Let me refresh this record. Oh, why the heck it didn't come up?
I think at the process builder, the check mark went off. Like
Which
when
check mark?
when you edit or create, there is no the checkbox. It's selected or not?
So no criteria, just update the records. Okay. I have everything. When a record is created or edited.
Okay, everything is there still.
Hello, process to evaluate record multiple times in a single transaction. Yes. And I just said, yeah, the mailing city is null, the mailing country is null. Oh, I know what it is. I know what it is. It's about the advance button. Oh, okay. I know what it is. I mean, I'll get to that piece later. Like, remember I told you the advanced, the checkbox, the advanced checkbox. I'll tell you. I'll explain you once you work on your basic exercise. You work on your basic exercise. And then I'll tell you what that advance is. It has to do with the transaction speed and everything. But for now, like let know that there is this process builder that we can use to be able to update the records that you have. And it's not only updating the records cross object, you can also update the records within the same object too. So here is what I want to do. You know what I want to do? I'll just give you a simple example. So tomorrow, like when you come to the class, first thing I want you to do that object exercise. Create an object A and create an object B. Add some records for object A and add some records in object B, and try to establish a master detail relationship between object A and B. Okay, that's exercise number 1. Number 2, I want you to create a process builder, same on contact object, and whatever the address that is entered in mailing address. Okay, whatever the address that's entered in mailing address, like mailing street, mailing city, mailing state, mailing postal code, mailing country, should be copied over to other street, other city. Exactly, like whatever that is there here. If I don't fill it here, same condition. If I already fill in other city, other state, other country and all, leave it. If I don't fill them, copy over with whatever you have here. Okay? Does it make sense? Like, same, exactly. Create a process builder on a contact. The criteria would be whenever a record is created and updated, and the field update will be you need to make sure whether the other city, other state, all these fields are null, and if they are null, copy over the mailing address, whatever that is entered. Okay? And do not check those advanced checkboxes. Okay? So that now that I check the advanced checkbox here, in the exercise that you do not check the advanced checkbox. So I want to explain you the difference between, it's a real important difference. So there is a design pattern called bulk state transaction. So, I mean, that has got everything to do with that. Advanced checkbox has everything to do with that bulk state transaction design pattern. So in the exercise that you are going to do, don't check that advanced checkbox. So we can compare and contrast the differences between checking that advanced checkbox versus not checking the advanced checkbox. Okay? Are you clear with the exercise? See, the important thing is to understand what the requirement is. Okay? I'm going to repeat one last time in case somebody missed. Create a process builder on contact object every time a record is created or updated, and if the other address fields are empty, you need to make sure the mailing address is copied over, like mailing street city is copied over to other street city and all this. Okay? So create a process. Do not check the advanced checkboxes. Okay? Do not check the advanced checkboxes so that we can compare the process builder that you built versus the process builder that we have with the advanced checkboxes, so that, we will know the differences when to use advanced checkbox versus when not to use the advanced checkbox. Using it is a good thing, but not always. So we will we'll track when to use it versus when not to use it. Okay. Any questions, guys? Anybody? Please do this. The reason I'm asking is it's a tiny exercise. It wouldn't really take 10 minutes of your time, but it will clarify so many things. And at the same time, when we do the comparisons and stuff, you will really follow what's going on. Okay, just take that 10 or 15 minutes and make sure you do this before tomorrow's class. Okay. All right, guys. Yes.
Okay. Hello, sir.
Yeah, who is that?
Ramesh here.
Yeah, Ramesh, go ahead.
Yeah, the thing like when I have started creating the the object manager,
Mm-hmm.
and I have gone through like the same way you have taught in the class that by creating the new by creating uh, the custom object.
Uh-huh.
I have gone through giving the name as an employee, and there is like automatic API name employee
Uh-huh.
underscore C and everything. And after that, I have given the field and the relationships, like giving designation and all this. And later, when I have gone to the home, like when I have gone to the sales, and I cannot find the employee under the tabs.
Okay, so you went to Sales app, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, the tab that you created, right, did you create an employee tab? So you created the object. While you were creating an object, did you check this checkbox called Launch New Custom Tab Wizard after saving this custom object?
Let me check it, sir. So, do you want me to share my screen?
If not, I mean, yes, yeah, you can share yours.
Oh,
I'll just stop the recording.
Okay.